All right, fans, as promised, a second helping this week on the E's and B's podcast, but I'm bringing a special helping this week. Get in line. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Rocky Mountain Pro on Twitch's #1 commentator, the ringmaster of the Ring Circus. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Bud Bellflower.
I mean, that was okay, but you forgot the manager of lights and audio, statistician magician, the scout of talent, the vendor of goods, and the producer extraordinaire. But yes, I am also Twitch's #1 commentator. I'll just add that to my repertoire.
Awesome. Yes, I wanted to hand it off to you because you say it so well. How's it going this morning, Bud?
Well, you know, it's a good morning. It's not too terribly cold. I'm not sure.
Friday, you know, it's the weekend, so it's the start of the weekend. I'd like to welcome you here to the E's and B's. As you may know, we've had several of the RMP talent on here, asked them so many different crazy questions, but you have, my friend, have been long awaited. I've been following you now for over a year on Twitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, almost. Well, I would say almost a whole year, close to, I guess.
Okay.
But obviously, as you know, on here on the E's and B's, I've dove into Rocky Mountain, and I'm shining the light on all the talent. But let's be honest, Bud, it starts with you, right? Because if you're not putting them on the pedestal that you've been putting them on or putting them in their place, then we wouldn't know nothing about them, right?
You're right. You're absolutely right. What they don't know is, as much as the wrestlers are valuable and there are $1 million wrestlers just as well, there are $1.50 wrestlers.
That's right.
And the thing about the back end, the production people, is that we are irreplaceable.
Yeah.
It's a very valuable skill in the sport of wrestling.
And I do agree. Yeah, I think the shows, in my opinion, you rate them off of their commentators, and sometimes people are click happy if the commentating is bad or boring. You're not going to watch it. So, right. And that's what I like about you. You keep everything interesting. What I'd like for you today to do, Bud, is why don't you tell my listeners out there just a little bit about yourself, man.
A little bit. All right. So just the background. I grew up on a farm outside Cecil, Georgia. All right. So, rags to riches is the story I'm going for. Started teaching to get out of that, the boonies. I wanted to get out by finding, going to college and doing the big city strategy, but that didn't work out because teaching in America is a fool's errand, so to speak. But then after that, I realized that the skills that I had acquired on the farm had actually prepared me well enough to enter the sport of wrestling, not as a wrestler, but as the everything else. I actually drew a lot of inspiration from Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart is the guy that I want to emulate because not only was he the guy, with the megaphone being everybody's cheerleader, he was also writing the music. That's actually how he got his start. He was a musician, and then they were like, well, we need entrance music, and so he did that. Anytime the ring needed to be unloaded, he did that. He had his hands and his fingers all deeply implanted into the system so that they could not let him go, and that's how he made it. And so all of that put together, now I am scouting. As of about a few months ago, I was given the reins to just look around. Instead of being confined to my duties, I was able to look and see other promotions as well as ours, how many times people won, how many times people lost, how they did, and all this. I'm also, like I said, I am the statistician, so I follow that very closely.
Yes,
I'm pretty close to having all of Rocky Mountain Pro and New Revolution Wrestling statistics done.
Yeah, let me add something.
All that said, it has culminated in me finding the best 3 wrestlers west of the Mississippi out here to wreak havoc on not only Rocky Mountain Pro, but if I had my way, it'd be DCW, maybe CSW too.
Nice. That sounds very intriguing. And for those listeners out there that don't know, he, like I said, he is the ringmaster now of the Ring Circus, and I got to catch just a glimpse of these guys for a little bit here just last Charged, and you've got something for them, that's for sure. But I want to talk just a little bit about,
because you were a subscriber on Twitch.
That's correct. That's how I've been following you all this time.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, my daughter, she actually, she likes the Hills herself, and she's a little Bud Bellflower fan herself. So,
all right.
But let me add something to what you were saying there about yourself. I think from my perspective, from what I've been seeing, to add on top of you saying you get your inspiration from Jimmy Hart, is now, including all the things you're doing on Twitch, you kind of remind me just a taste of maybe, let's say, Jim Cornette as well, because
that's what I was waiting for.
Because let's be honest, if you're gonna take all those stats and know the history, and then take all the knowledge you got from Jimmy Hart and Jim Cornette, Bud, you're the next big thing, in my opinion, because those are two of the greatest that's ever done it. And
I agree.
They're still to this day, they're popular. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Cornette, because that was actually the personality that got me into wrestling. If you'd known me a year ago, I was very much a cultist of Cornette. And I hold a lot of his opinions still.
Sure.
He is a very knowledgeable person about old school wrestling, and it's like he's a fountain of knowledge for that. Though, now I am not a 100% diehard. I've just like him, Bruce Pritchard. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Vince Russo.
Yeah.
I'm learning this sport through everybody.
And
but
I think
Jim Cornette was the first, so there will be a lot of inspiration from him.
I agree. I think that's the best way to do it. Take a little bit of piece from everybody that you can, and then mold your own self and make your own self something bigger than they ever were. That would be great. Well, hey, let's keep things rolling here, Bud, on the E's and B's podcast. What we got for you today, buddy? We've got a half dozen questions. Some of them crazy.
Bud,
some of them. What's that?
Bud, not Buddy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, Bud. My fault. Yep, Bud. We got a half dozen questions for you. Some of them crazy. Some of them maybe a little bit about wrestling. Maybe not. Okay. But we'll jump right on in here with the first question. And we've kind of already touched on it, so just maybe add to the dates and stuff. But what it is how did you get your start in the wrestling business?
Yeah, I did touch on that, but I'll be more specific. So what was I doing at the time? I was teaching. I was doing yet another iteration of teaching, thinking that I would climb myself out of the hole that is living in the world today in 2017. And what was it? That's right. I saw on Monday Night Raw, I saw Curtis Cole and Tyler Stinson and I believe Dave Turner up against Braun Strowman. And, the ring announcer said, and from Rocky Mountain Pro. And I was like, wait, hold on, wait. That's like right down the street. Yeah. What you're on Raw? You're taking on Braun Strowman? So that is what piqued my interest. And I was, okay, I wonder if I could just get into this. So I started doing, the dirty millennial thing and YouTubing and Googling everything about it. And eventually I just reached out to Mercury Aiden, emailed him and said, hey, I don't know anything about this, but I want to. And he's like, oh, cool. Come meet Stevie. Over Easy Stevie, and we will work something out. And so Over Easy Stevie was the first one to really take me in. I miss that guy. He was the production guru master before we had the 3 or 4 people to fill his place. That's how big his shoes are, by the way. But I went over to the Jeffco Fairgrounds and timidly shook everybody's hands and, hey, I'm Bud. How are you? I want to make it in wrestling. And there were, Mercury Aiden. Yeah, he was the type. At least to me, he looked at me like, yeah, we'll see if you make it, kid. And I think I have. I've earned his respect, and I like that. But anyway. With Stevie, he taught me how to, he was teaching me all the back end stuff. He was just walking me through, this is everything. And it was so much. I was like, I'm never going to learn all this. This is so much. There's so much lights and audio and Twitch and everything else that I have no idea what's going on. But he started me off just doing the lights. Just, all right, these are the lights. Whenever Atiba comes out, we want them to be yellow and orange. Figure it out. Yeah. Okay. So that was my little itty-bitty creative outlet was, since Atiba is a fan favorite and he's a high flyer, we'll give him the ooh, ah, like, it was just lights. It was just lights. But I loved it. I loved being a part of, this is going to sound really lame, but after the first time that I had full control over the creativity of the lights that came out when the wrestlers made their entrance for less than a minute, I went back and watched, and I was like, oh, those are my lights. Those are my lights.
Proud of what you did. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
But that's important for everything you do. You have to be
if you had the heart, and like I tell all the RMP talent that comes on here, you got to start somewhere. That's why I'm here, to shine a little bit of light on everybody. But like the people that put the most into it and love it the most are the ones that usually go the farthest.
You're right. You are not wrong.
So that's a good way to start. We'll keep things moving here. But your second question is going to be a good one. I've asked all the RMP talent the same thing. Everybody's giving me a different answer. But who's your favorite wrestler all time?
Oh, man. Favorite wrestler of all time. I'm torn between, and these are going to be two very different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll give you the one that people will go, ooh, ah, and sip their tea, and ooh, yes. Then the next one, anyway. I think my favorite wrestler of all time might be AJ Styles.
Okay. I can see.
I also think he might be Bill Goldberg.
Okay, man, two different spectrums. Explain to me why you would choose Styles first and then Goldberg second.
So it isn't Styles first, Goldberg second. It's 1A, 1B. I don't know
because of the styles, obviously, like how AJ wrestles, and then obviously how dominant we know Goldberg was. So
right. I think I like AJ Styles because he reminds me a lot of Al Snow's trajectory, where he wasn't necessarily he wasn't in the WWE for a good long time. And then once he made it, making sure to get those air quotes in there.
Yeah, nice air quotes.
It wasn't, oh, well, I was here and now I'm here. It was, now I'm at the bigger one. I'm at the bigger stage, but I'm still the same AJ Styles from TNA, New Japan,
right,
and all the other independent stuff that he tore it up at. Like, to me, AJ Styles is the type of guy that no matter, you could put him at a promotion with 4 people. Like, now it would be ridiculous, but even if he had to, he would put on the best wrestling that he possibly could. Like, he's just that kind of guy. And I love how much of a family man he is. You can tell that, this is personal to him, that he wants to provide for his family, and he is doing his damnedest to be the best wrestler in the world. And he is. And then to Bill Goldberg, I mean, I won't expound on it too much because Big E said it the best. But Bill Goldberg is a wrecking machine. All right. I guess I'll give you the real reason. Because whenever I was growing up, me and my dad would watch wrestling all the time. And as you know, I'm from Georgia. Sure. So as a kid, I am enamored, just enthralled by what I'm seeing. I'm like, these guys can go.
Yeah.
Bill Goldberg is 70-something-0 right now. And then, as I'm, just eyes popping out of my head, my dad's like, you know where he went to school, right? What do you mean you know where I went to school? He went to Georgia. He was the All-American nose tackle for the Bulldogs. Like, oh, no way.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I put the connection together now. I didn't think about it earlier, the Georgia connection. I mean, you can't go wrong with Goldberg anyways.
He was actually good at football.
Yeah. I mean, and now his son is obviously, from what I hear, is in the same path, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's cool, man. Bill Goldberg, you can't go wrong with that guy. Like you said, one of the most famous streak of all time. I mean, let's be honest. So cool. And then AJ Styles. I mean, still to this day, I can't get enough of him. I feel like they don't put. I don't know. Maybe it's the booking issues, but they don't put him on enough, in my opinion.
I think when he first arrived, they were really hot on him. And I don't know, they've got this thing. I don't want to put words in people's mouths or anything, but it does seem like they still like the big guys, and they still like young guys.
Well, okay. have you been watching recently? They've stuck this bodyguard with him, just recently.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I see the intimidation factor. I get but I just want AJ Styles. I don't need all the extras. I like Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson as well, back when they were, the click together and stuff like that, the OC, but he didn't need them either. Let's be honest. He's a heck of a talent.
He doesn't need, and his name popped up on the screen, and it was so long, and I don't remember it, and I wish I did. But he doesn't need that guy. He doesn't need him.
No,
but what he's doing is giving him a favor, in my opinion. Like,
True.
This guy is very green. He's big.
Maybe
you're
big. Right.
I've never seen him wrestle. I heard
no,
him
neither have I.
The first time
very
last
green.
night,
We know he's been there. He was the door guard for Raw Underground. But
right.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I love AJ Styles too. I just wish they would leave him alone in that factor and let him, be. I mean, TNA days was amazing to me. He was just, I don't know, always on.
Well,
all right.
Maybe it's just that time. Maybe he's shifting gears. You know how Kobe Bryant, when he was younger, it was very explosive play. And then whenever he got older, he had to do that old man shimmy. I use that example all the time because I love it. Maybe that's what AJ Styles is doing.
True. And you said too the same thing. He's got a big heart, so you're right. He might be doing favors now, going forward. Maybe keeping things rolling here, bud. Let's get into the third question. This one here might be in the same kind of factor because we kind of already asked you who your favorite is. But if you could eat breakfast with any one person wrestling, who would it be?
Oh, in wrestling. All right. Eat breakfast with alive.
Yeah. Well, no, it could be dead. I do have written down here, dead or alive. So
we'll just go with alive because we'll just go with alive.
Okay.
If I could eat breakfast with it, Paul Heyman.
Okay. Now I'm going to add on to that because this is the breakfast show here in the E's and B's podcast. What are you having?
What am I having? I had some Frosted Flakes.
Nice. Traditional. Not the first person that said cereal on this show. Awesome. And Paul Heyman, once again, leading back to the factor that we know that you're the manager that you are, why not pick his brain too, man? That's a good answer.
Well, and he was a promoter. And
everything.
Man.
He's been pretty much everything. You're right. All right, moving on. Next question here. This one's my favorite, I think, out of the 6. All right, there's a comic book coming out next week. It's about you. What's the name of it?
I mean, the 3 Ring Circus, obviously. Huh? My life has not meant much until just recently, until I have become the producer of Rocky Mountain Pro, as well as all the litany of other titles and accolades I have acquired. But right now, we are in a renaissance. We are in a renaissance of wrestling. You hear me? It's going to be a fantastic revolution, so to speak. I don't know. Things are changing. I'm shaking things up. I think that Mercury Aiden, I think that Titus Machiavelli, I think that all of them are not quite ready for what I have in store. It's I've been watching a lot of wrestling. I've been watching and making sure that I know all the rules. And different promotions have different rules. But what's fun is to play snug to those rules. What's fun is to find the little gaps. I think I would have made a good lawyer, but I don't want to go to hell. So that is just out of the question.
Right on, and I agree. Yes, you gotta do that, right? Walk that fine line. All right. Well, here in the month of November, but it's a thankful month on the E's and B's show. So we're gonna throw in a thankful question here in the scrambled egg segment.
Okay.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving memory?
I know exactly the one. So I was 9 years old, and we were all at Grandma's house, and the whole family was there. And I was 9 years old, so I'm relegated to sit at the kids' table. And there's this big turkey that my grandma has just pulled out of the oven, which I don't know how it fit in there, honestly. But puts it on the table, and I knew that, has to go to the top patriarchs, whatever. They get the 2 drumsticks. It would probably be going to Papa. And it would probably be going to Uncle Joe that year because he landed some big fancy construction deal or something. I don't know. I wasn't very concerned with it. So here's what I did. While everybody very non-wisely closed their eyes and bowed their heads, I snuck up and yanked it. And I ate it before they were done, so they couldn't even take it from me.
No.
That's my favorite Thanksgiving memory. Having my first drumstick and earning it.
Awesome. Sneaking in and getting a drumstick while they're praying. Oh, Bud, that's great. That's good stuff.
Should I close your eyes?
Yeah, close your eyes, pray while I get my prize. Hey, as we
wind it with one eye open, they don't tell people to pray with one eye open. That's probably a good strategy, though.
Definitely. Hey, as we're winding things down here on the E's and B's, Bud, I just got one more question and a couple things left here before I let you go. Last question, though. It's going to stay close to home here at Rocky Mountain Pro, and it might be a tough one for you, but let my fans know. What's your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro match all time?
Well, you know, I won't give you the easy one of, well, Three Ring Circus's debut, because that match wasn't really a match. That was a beatdown. You know, I would have to say, let me find exactly who it's from because, hey, I got the stats. But it is the French rules match between Stéphane Lacroix and, God, who was he up against? I'm pretty sure, like, Brian Von Doyle. Yeah, there it is. Brian Von Doyle, which is Duff Doyle's either half-brother, full brother, I don't know. Maybe that's just semantics. But Brian Von Doyle up against Stéphane Lacroix. The story behind that, and if you couldn't tell, he's very French. Stéphane Lacroix lost his first 3 matches purely because he didn't understand the American rules. And to me, that's just wrong. Like, he comes here and you didn't take the time to explain that there are a few things that are different. He lost, and you could tell after each one he was, so finally, after a little bit of talking to, I forget who owned Grudge at the time or who was the guy, but talked to Mercury and whoever the owner of Grudge is and said, hey, man, we need to get a French rules match. Get me something on my home turf. And so they did, and it was fantastic. The Brian Von Doyle very stupidly let him kick out after 3 when everyone knows that it's a 5 count in a French rules match. And then he tried to submit him with an American submission when you know that isn't permitted in a French rules match. And Stéphane Lacroix was victorious. It was his first New Revolution Wrestling win, which New Revolution Wrestling, if the people don't know, is Rocky Mountain Pro, but in the past.
Nice. Yeah, that's a pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good storyline there for sure. Like, obviously, like you said, they were kind of like shitty to him because he's from France and didn't know the rules. Well, then it flipped on him. Then that guy didn't know the other rules. So cool, man. That's a great.
And Stéphane Lacroix is actually where we're at in the rewind. He might be the first one to 30 wins.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
I know you were talking about that just not too long ago. So interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, Bud. Well, I got one last thing for you before I let you go, and it's not a question. It's just a memory I want you to talk about because obviously this month we've been talking about 30 years with The Undertaker. Obviously, Survivor Series is when he started. I've been touching on Survivor Series moments all month long. But I just want to know from you, Bud, what's your first or your favorite memory of Undertaker?
I thought you were going to ask me about Survivor Series. Undertaker? Man, it certainly wasn't his debut because I think he debuted when I debuted out of the womb. So,
okay.
I think the first I ever saw of Undertaker was around, you know what? I'll just say it. The first memory I have is June of 1998 in the cage, the Hell in a Cell between him and Mick Foley because, and like I said, me and my dad would watch wrestling a lot, and we were watching WCW because we live in Georgia.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right, and of course, I love Tony Schiavone. I love Tony Schiavone. Go Dogs.
I love him too.
He does all the Gwinnett Braves or Gwinnett Stripers or whatever they're called now, and the Georgia basketball. Yeah. I love Tony Schiavone, but in this moment, he was not very smart. The whole, oh yeah, well, Mick Foley's winning the title. That'll put butts in seats. And we were one of the ones. Dad was like, well, I like Mick Foley. Let's see what's happening. So we did. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's a good memory. They're definitely one of his most famous matches. Obviously, we know what happened to Mick Foley, getting
Yeah.
tossed off of one heck of a fall. Well, Bud, before I let you go, buddy, I always give the opportunity to all my interviewees. Is there anything you'd like to ask old Eddie B before I let you go?
Well, the only thing I can ask is that you let me tell people that all these things that we have talked about, this 3-ring circus tomfoolery, you will see it on Fight TV. You'll see it on Roku and all the other internet television apps coming out in the next 3 weeks. But the only way to watch it absolutely live, like the most live you can do it, is by subscribing on Twitch. That's the way that E's and B's podcast found out about all of my nefarious deeds, all of them, and not just the next week's. I would say keep your eye out for 3-ring circus and keep your eye out on me, because I'm not just a manager of 3 wrestlers. I make highlight. I make good at Photoshop. I've got the whole package. So I am one to pick up, if you know what I'm saying. I know all the back end stuff. I can do that for you. I am wrestling royalty, prodigal wrestling royalty. That's a good one, actually. I might just keep that one. Prodigal wrestling royalty.
All right.
But all that said, I am just glad that you have given me this platform on the E's and B's podcast today, Friday, November
20th.
20th.
Hey, it's all right. You work hardworking, man, for getting dates. That's okay. You got a lot on your mind.
Dates are kind of weird in 2020.
Well, when you're working every day, doing rewind, 2 hours a day on top of ringing up that 3-ring circus, things can get jumbled up. I understand. Well, Bud, it's been an honor and pleasure having you on today. I hope everybody out there enjoyed everything they got from you, because I know I sure did. And I can't wait to have you back on in the future. And I can't wait to catch up with you soon. Hopefully, when all this craziness ends, I'll be able to actually get to a RMP event, and I'll get you your shirt and stuff too.
Ooh,
man.
I wear a large.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming today.
Bud, but no problem.
Thanks for coming today. I appreciate it. Stay safe. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's Bud Bellflower.